Tonight at 5, there are a lot of unanswered questions and concerns that are now being raised by people who are worried about that shooting downtown. It was a mass shooting event.
Yes, to fill you in, it happened early Saturday morning, killing 2 teenagers and hurting 5 other young people. And today, the coroner released the names of the victims, telling us 15-year-old Azarion Cole and 16-year-old Xavion Jackson died in the shooting. And now 4 other teenagers are facing various charges and allegations following this shooting. So we have had a team of reporters. We are looking into all these developments all day long.
Our Ashton Hackman will share some of the concerns about the impact acts of violence like this can have on a downtown area.
Also, we're going to start with Emily Longnecker, who joins us live with a look at where this investigation now stands. Emily?
Well, Ann and Felicia, there haven't been any arrests in this case so far. And if police know what led to this deadly shooting, they are not saying. The Marion County Prosecutor's Office, though, did file charges against 4 teenagers ages 13 to 17, all of them for having guns illegally here downtown this weekend. The prosecutor's office says 2 of the teens were arrested before the deadly shooting even happened, and they're still working to determine if the other 2 teens are connected. That's going to involve going through video from cameras downtown. Police also confiscated several guns. Some of those are still being tested to see if they're connected. The prosecutor's office says investigators are also still following up on some information from social media posts. Now, this weekend, IMPD Chief Christopher Bailey said he'd like the prosecutor's office to find a way to hold parents accountable in these situations. Prosecutor Mears says that's a possibility when it comes to kids having guns.
And so for us, the key is, did the parent know or should they have known that their child was going to have a gun? And, certainly the way we've been able to prove that in the past is you very much rely on information that's on people's cell phones. What's that communication look like between the parent and the child? And then you're also looking at social media profiles and platforms. If parents have access to their kids' social media and see that their kid is openly flaunting the fact that they have a gun, if they're commenting on those photos, if they're liking those photos, if those things are out there, that puts us in a much better position to say these parents knew or should have known. And so that's very much something that IMPD is continuing to look into, and we're very hopeful that they'll be able to bring us those cases so we can be in a position to file those charges against parents.
And there's also a curfew that IMPD says it plans to enforce down here for kids ages 17 and under. Violating the curfew is not a criminal offense, but parents could face a citation if IMPD picks up their children after hours. Now, any changes to give that law more teeth, to give it stricter penalties to possibly make violating a curfew a criminal offense would have to come from changes made by the state legislature. Ann, Felicia?
All right, Emily Longnecker reporting live for us downtown.
And then Saturday's mass shooting marks the 3rd consecutive weekend of gun violence in and around downtown Indianapolis.
Our Ashton Hackman today talked to the president of Downtown Indy Inc., who says the violence could have a negative impact on the image of Indianapolis.
Saturday's mass shooting near the Circle comes just days after Downtown Indy Inc. launched their Economic Enhancement District, aiming to improve the quality of downtown. But now a weekend meant to honor and celebrate our country with others has instead become a moment of reflecting. City leaders and organizations like Downtown Indy Inc. are leading those conversations. Just last week, the nonprofit released results of their Downtown Perception Survey from last year, where 56% of people said they feel safe downtown. It's numbers they hope aren't impacted by recent rashes of violence.
To have gun violence become the thing that sort of defined this weekend for downtown is heartbreaking, and it's frustrating for businesses, for residents, for so many in our community.
Ahead at 6, hear how Downtown Indy Inc. hopes to be a part of the solution to ending teen gun violence in downtown. In Indianapolis, Ashton Hackman, 13 News.
Ashton, thank you. Tonight, we're also sharing solutions to youth violence and the groups that are working to make a positive change in our children, and doing so by intervening early on.
Really looking at this with a community perspective. The Peace Learning Center starts with kindergartners. The center is at Eagle Creek Park, and it teaches kids how to manage anger, resolve conflict, and become peacemakers. They have summer camps that give children socialization skills with the goal of preventing violence.
They also have a peer mediation program that's for the older kids. They say their programs work and are needed now more than ever.
We've had a 60% reduction in incidents of violence at the school because of our peer mediation program and because there's been a focus on peace building.
Peace Learning Center also recently received a $23,000 gift, and it came from the WNBA, all because the Fever won a tournament last week, and they designated the Peace Learning Center as their benefactor. And this is to further their mission of creating peacemakers here in the city of Indianapolis. Now,
obviously, the issue of unruly teenagers is not a new issue. This is something that we have seen before. This is also something that other cities have seen too. So we checked out some other cities for context. Cleveland, ages 16 and 17, when you're talking about curfew times, they have to be in the house by midnight. We also looked at curfew times for the city of Memphis. A little bit smaller than Indianapolis. That means Fridays and Saturdays, 16 and under, they have to be in the house by 11 p.m. And then 17-year-olds, they have to be in the house by midnight. Then we looked at a larger city, Chicago. They had some of the strictest times. Chicago, everyone 17 and under in the house at 10 p.m., okay? That is for 7 days a week, so it doesn't fluctuate by the day there. Every single day, 10 p.m. What's interesting in Chicago is that the city council just approved a measure that would be called a snap curfew. That means the police department can come in and declare a specific area under curfew in 30 minutes. That means everyone in that area who's underage would have to be in the home. That measure, though approved by the city council, was actually vetoed by the mayor. They would take that up again at the next city council meeting, which would be in July. So what's also interesting here is that Indianapolis has some of the most lenient times, the latest time at 1 a.m. for 15 to 17-year-olds.
And as we've mentioned, there are changes that are being made downtown to keep everyone safe.
We're talking everything from curfew enforcement to adding more security cameras, plus more patrols. You can actually read about those changes. We have them on our free news app, as well as our website, WTHR.com.
It's been a cloudy and cooler Monday for central Indiana. In terms of rain, just tracking a few spotty showers and storms, mainly south and east of Indianapolis, but a couple of our southern counties still impacted from near Seymour to around North Vernon over toward Versailles. This is where we will find that rain chance for the next couple of hours. Otherwise, skies are already starting to clear. We can see that across parts of central Indiana, specifically some peaks of blue over Bunker Hill. Also, the golf course in Indianapolis, also in Carmel. The clearing trend will continue. That means a weather issue early tomorrow morning as we clear and cool, perhaps a little bit of fog. Clearing skies this evening, upper 70s close to 80. Morning fog, afternoon sun, and just a slight storm chance late tomorrow. Highs 85 to 90.
It's now been more than 8.5 years since 4 young sisters were killed in a house fire to the north of here in a town called Flora.
And now the FBI is taking to the streets of Carroll County with new investigators, all to get answers for the little girl's family. Our Samantha Johnson is there.
The corner of Division and Columbia Streets sits quiet and empty in Flora. It's a stark difference from 2016, when fire investigators say someone set this house on fire, killing 4 young sisters inside. Their mother was also hurt. No one has ever been charged.
I always cry. I try not to come here a lot. I think about them a lot.
Kathy Clendenning is a family friend. She knew those 4 little girls: Kiana Davis, Kiara Phillips, Carrie-Elle McDonald, and Keone Welch.
All 4 of their lives mattered. Each one of them mattered so much. They mattered to the kids they went to school with. They mattered to their family, to their mom. You know, those girls were gonna be somebody. I know they were. I know they were.
Clendenning told us she was shocked in a good way to hear the FBI is in town. They're going door to door with what they call an elevated collective effort and new investigators on the case.
I think there's something somebody's hiding, I would guess, or they're afraid to speak out.
The FBI tells us they started their own investigation several years ago, and they've been working alongside Indiana State Police ever since.
Even people who have been interviewed in the past will be interviewed again, according to the FBI. ISP telling us in a statement, quote, "We remain fully committed to pursuing every lead to achieve a complete resolution. Until then, FBI special agents and state detectives are boots on the ground in Carroll County."
I have a lot of hope that someone will come forward with that little small tip that's going to solve this. That's what I have today, is a lot of hope.
In Flora, Samantha Johnson, 13 News.
And the Indiana State Fire Marshal is offering a $5,000 reward for a tip leading to an arrest in this case. You can find the tip line right now on our website, WTHR.com. You can remain anonymous. And we've been following this investigation into the Flora fire for more than 8 years. You can watch all of our past stories, including our 13 Investigates reports on WTHR+. That's where we've got a special streaming right now. You can just download the app for your TV to watch. It is free.
Developing tonight, the Indiana Supreme Court sets a tentative date for the state's next execution.
And because of that, Governor Braun says he's directed the Department of Correction to make the necessary preparations. As of right now, Roy Ward's execution is set for October 10th. Ward is on death row for raping and murdering a 15-year-old girl in 2001. He and his attorneys have until July 30th to respond. The state has until August 11th.
Just last week, Ward's attorneys asked for a 45-day extension to respond to the state attorney general's request for an execution date to be set. His attorneys claim the Indiana Department of Correction is not giving them the information they requested about the cost of various execution drugs.
And they're arguing buying those drugs without public bidding violates state law.